Today's topic is going to be on push notices. I don't know when the last time we've talked about push notices, but my first question is, do you guys know what a push notice is? Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
That sets out some kind of alert or notification at a moment during the day that either you scheduled to sign up for or a reminder
Exactly.
type thing or something.
Exactly. It is a it is a notice and a reminder similar to a text message, but not through the texting itself. It just pops up on the phone and then it stays within the app for people to take a look at later. So it does accumulate in that respect. And it is something to get them to take action immediately or in time. So for example, Anna, I think you guys should start to do push notices weekly. Or and I guess there's some rules on that before I jump into the examples of who, what, where. The first thing that I want to say is know your audience and how often you can do a push notice. I have one client that does a push every day, and that sounds like, oh my God, that's crazy. But it's actually the affirmation of the day, and it's the motivation of the day. And so it makes sense because the message is not only different, it's on purpose and task, and yet she's giving something. She's giving something freely, and that keeps her top of mind to her customers all the time because she does offer a lot of different services, but she does this affirmation of the day. And that's what her business is all about, mindset. And it's an entire healing and whatnot. So it all ties together for her master classes and things that she offers. But you don't want to send them out too much unless your audience can tolerate it on purpose. So for example, Anna, if you guys were going to start doing one every day, I think people would turn off the notifications. And especially if they're not interested in that at the time. Same thing for you guys, Lucas. If you were to start sending them out every single day, I think people would turn off the notifications. And the key is to get people to keep the notifications. Now, depending how people have their phones set up will depend if they see them or not. But like I say, they're housed within the app as well. There are times that, like for yours, Lucas, where you want to start sending out pushes when there's deadlines that are coming up. March 15th is a deadline for business taxes. I was close today. At least I knew it wasn't April 15th when I said that during our meeting. It's like, I know it's in March sometime. Mm-hmm. But you want to send those out, maybe not necessarily on March 15th, but you want to send out a notice, hey, reminder, business taxes are due on the 15th. If you haven't contacted us, contact us here. You want to send them out when they make sense. And you want to send them out when you have a purpose or something specific to actually share and say. So, Anna, if you got into a habit of sending them out once a week and at a certain time, people are going to start to wait for that and notice that.
I do know that now when we get new investors in the chamber, on their application, they're able to already give us their promotion or their deal for the app.
Oh, nice.
Right. So it's an automatic thing. You're filling everything out. You might as well fill out the deal. It goes right on the app. So I think it would be great for us every month. We send out a new investor email every single month. It would be nice to send out a push notification saying these are our new investors and their new deals. Make sure you go and check them out.
Exactly. And then what you can do within your notifications, I have to check, Lucas, yours is set up a little differently, but in your notifications, you can actually link right to the new deals page. So when the notification comes out, it not only do I see it, but if I tap it, it'll take me to the deal page right away. So you want to be able to do that. And what's really cool is you can pre-schedule the push notices. You don't have to do it right away. So you can pre-schedule. The negative on that is you cannot change the copy once you have it scheduled. You can duplicate the copy, but so if you were going to add more people to it, you can duplicate it, but you cannot add to it. You can't edit it, unfortunately, once it's been set. But you can certainly redo it. But if you had something that every Monday or whatever, or every Friday, if there's a lot of restaurants on there or something, if you wanted to send out, hey, shopping this weekend, check out the deals on the deal page, and do another one of once a month to check out the new members, the new investors. I like that term instead of members, investors. That's good. That's some good brainstorming. To be able to do that and make that once a month things for people to watch for new, you will start to see more activity with your app. Definitely. And the same thing with you, Lucas, you guys can also pre-schedule them. So you can actually go in January and schedule all the push notices to go out for the year based on the calendar dates that you want them to go out. So it's not like it takes a lot of effort to do push notices, but oh my gosh, they are so, so powerful. Now, how do we make them a little different? Okay. So, one thing that you can do is you can add an image to your push notice so that it's not just the words coming across. The one that we have for Brilliant Breakthroughs, the business, the book series, let me see if I can pull that up here. And I don't know if you guys can see, this might be a little difficult, but you see the images that we have attached to each one. Every Thursday, we send out one about their podcast. And I've got these things scheduled to go out all the way through until November. And whenever you tap on it, it will go to the podcast tab. So right there, we made it go to the tab. We will also have the image right there. And it comes out every Thursday at 10 o'clock. Our time, because that way they've posted it on Wednesday, and every single week it's reminding people to come back in and do something with the app. Now, the other thing you can do is you can set it up to go to a specific URL. For example, I believe there's a golf outing coming, and you can set it up so you send out a push notice to remind people about the golf outing, to remind people about the donations that you need, whatever it is that you decide to do. And you can have it where they tap on it and they go right to the registration page. So it can go to an outside URL. It does not have to go strictly here. So some of the other things that you can do with your push notices is you can add some little bling to them. It's possible to add a gift if you want, one of those little dancing whatever. Personally, I find those annoying. You can add emojis in there. You can jazz it up so it stands out a little bit by maybe bolding some text or underlining some text. You can create these any way that makes sense to you. And there is a strategy to this. People don't always react with the first one. Now, if you're doing like we did, where we're doing the every Thursday for the podcast, great. It's consistent. It reminds people we only do it once, etc. But if you're leading up to something, you can do a couple. We do that actually with the book release. When there's a new release coming out, we do start sending push notices a little bit more often, but they're different and they're on task. So it is important to do that. But there's a lot of good things that you can do with push notices that can go out to the mass. Now, you can also segment your push notices if you want. where they go out to just a specific group of people who may have chosen to receive that. For example, Lucas, if you have just people who are business owners and you only want to send out push notices directly to them, but now you would have to, your user would have to opt into that specific list. It's not you deciding who that list is. They have to opt in, but they're given those options right within the app itself as to which ones they want to be in if you decide to start segmenting. It's a good thing to segment, but I just get in the habit first of actually sending push notices. That's what I would do first, is come up with a calendar and a schedule. Think of it like your social media and how you post to that. How often are you doing this? How often are you in communication? Those are all things that need to be taken into consideration. If you're a retail group, I know we don't have any on the call today, but if you are a retail group, you might want to notify people of what sales are coming up. Why should they do business with you? It always gets down to the why they should do business with you. And then to not be annoying, because the last thing you want is for them to turn these things off. But you can jazz them up. You can do different images. You can make it so that your brand comes through. You want to keep push notices short and to the point. Long and lengthy is not good. 2-3 sentences. In fact, I believe the one for Brilliant Biz Book just very simply says, check out our latest podcast episode. Period. Think about your own habits. You know, which ones do you keep on and which ones do you turn off? Right? I turned off what have you got there? You're on mute.
I'm assuming I've always been curious about push notifications, so I'm glad that we're doing this. But I bought a pair of shoes from this shoe company called Tuck a few months back, and I usually opt out of emails because they just, it's always not anything I'm interested in. But I signed up for this, and so yeah, I get text messages from them and Doc Martens. Not a lot, but like maybe once every 2 weeks. And I thought they were just text messages, but I guess this would be push notifications.
Yeah, it depends where they come through.
Yeah, and it comes with a little text.
Mm-hmm. Actually, that is a text message.
Oh, is it?
That is a text message. And I've been talking to people, and it's a love-hate relationship. Either people love getting the text or they hate it. Like, I do not like getting the text messages. I'm sorry, but to me, text messaging is for immediate contact, individual contact, not for some business to blast me.
Right.
Been getting spam as well.
So what would that look like if it was a push notification? Like, how is it different?
It like comes across the top. Right?
Oh, it comes across the top like one of those Okay.
Right. It's a notification like that. Right?
I get it.
That's where it's different. Like here, Panera reminded me a couple hours ago that if I'm still sleepy, leave breakfast to us and then get a tasty bite, whatever. But it had a nice headline to it.
Okay.
A little icon on it. I chose not to go over there because I was in another meeting. But it hit me up at the right time, if you will. It was targeted for 2 hours ago. So it was sent at 8:30 in the morning. I'm probably getting ready to, if I were traveling, to my office, for 9 o'clock, I'd be getting ready to go out. It'd be like, oh my gosh, yes, let me stop and go get breakfast. And that's what your push notices are supposed to do. They're supposed to get people to take action, whatever action that is, whether it's to file for a tax form, whether it's to, check out a latest deal and go shopping. It's to get people to take action. Now, there's certain ones that I have shut off because they were getting to be annoying, which was like every time somebody posted on LinkedIn or posted on Facebook or, all of those, it was like, oh my gosh, I can't take these anymore. And that's where it gets to be too much and people will cut it off. Now, some people love getting that. They love to be in the know. They love to be able to, every little action, but they're reactive then instead of being proactive into their day. But when you do these notices, it is very important to make sure they are purposeful and on task. And that's probably one of the biggest things. But you also need to have a strategy. Just like everything else, it's a marketing tool. And to get people to say, oh my gosh, this is great, let me share the app, that itself could be a push notice. Have you enjoyed what's going on? Please share this with 3 friends. That right there can be a push notice because the app has the share with a friend option right in it to share the app. And it makes it so much easier for people when they have that capability and they're reminded to do it. When you just like ask people for referrals, like if you shot an email, hey, I hope you've enjoyed our service. If you know of some friends, let us know. Nobody thinks about it, right? You could easily send it off and say, for example, if you're pushing the new deals, share this with 3 of your shopping buddies. Oh my gosh, okay, I have to send this to Lee and I have to send it to Sally and I've got to send it to Chris, right? You think differently when you lead them to that. Same thing with Gordon J. Meyer. You could very easily say, hey, we love referrals. Who do you do business with that we can help? And now you've put it in my head of who you're looking for, right? Same thing with Jerry's Automotive Service. You could very easily talk about, hey, we love referrals. Who's your best friend? Where do they get their car taken care of? Something like that, something to get them to give that referral so that you can make it interactive and get people to respond. So it's really, push notices are a big deal and they're often overlooked and they are definitely underused, but it's also the best way to keep telling your clients that you are still in business. And that's what happens with apps too often. They just sit. People build an app, they put it up on the store, they think it's ready to come to them, and boom, they can't figure out why they're not getting downloads. They can't figure out why nobody's interacting. You're not giving them a purpose. And the power of the push is, wow, I can't tell you how powerful this is, that it really gets you to take action. And it can be a detriment if you start overdoing it. Now, we have somebody in our group, Melinda, who has the Fisherman app, the Good Karma Sports Fishing. The push notices that she's sending are fantastic. They're on purpose. They are not at a specific rhythm or time, so you never know when you're going to get them, but they're not too much. I would say she averages maybe 3 a month, but it's enough to keep me coming back. And that's what it's all about. So, yeah.
So I have a question. Okay, so I guess the most common place I get push notifications from are the apps that I have downloaded on my phone, whether it's Google Play or I can't think of anything right now, or one of those I used to have game apps on my phone that I would play. And I've turned most of them off because I don't care. But every once in a while, one pops up now that I know what it is, pops up across the top of my phone, and I'll go say it has 3 lines of text. Okay. So the thing that I found is that I go to click on it to see what it says, and it'll take me to a website, or it'll take me to the app, or whatever the case may be. And then that text is gone. And I haven't seen a way to, and usually with text messages, when it comes across the top of your phone, if you don't want to actually open the text, there's a little arrow that you can click and it'll expand it so you can read the entire thing. I've noticed that the push notifications I'm getting do not have that. And so if I click on it and go to the website, and go back, the notice is gone. Or if I accidentally clear it out, it's gone and I can't go back and read it. Is there a place where these just live that I can go back and actually read what the entire thing said? Because if I'm just going to the website with no information of why it actually took me there, I'm like, okay, well, is there a sale? Is there terms of service update? Is there, what is
Right.
it?
Right. And actually that's a very ineffective way to do that. If it goes away. Most apps, not all, but most apps have a spot within the app itself that is storing the message.
Okay.
Most apps, when you do tap on it, it will either take you right to where you want to be, or it'll take you into the app itself and and show you the push notice.
Okay.
Or within the app, it'll say, like for Brilliant Biz Book, it's a spot called announcements. In the chamber, I gotta look it up and figure out on More For You what we call that, because I know that they're there. Messages. We called it messages. So there is a spot where they all house,
Okay.
so that people can see them. Now, there are also ways in a lot of the apps now where you can send out an individual push notice. Oh, there's Stacy. She said she was gonna be late today. Hello, Stace.
Hi.
We were just talking about push notices and the power of the push.
Oh, those are
Yes.
the best.
Yes. So, but there are ways with some of the apps now that you can send an individual push notice, of an individual message. And that's actually something that Jerry's Automotive is looking to do, is to send out a notice, say when the car is done, or if they have an estimate for ready, or something where it's going to go just to that person. Or if the person has scheduled an appointment, request, they can respond back within the app. Your appointment is set for Monday at 2 or whatever time frame that is. Because the people, and obviously the client has to have the app on the phone and has to have set up an account with it so that you can specifically send to them. You don't have to set up accounts to operate most apps. Some you do. We've got one right now that's in development that is coming very close for release. And the whole thing is based on account. You have to have an account for it. If you don't have an account for it, then the app is useless. But any of these other ones, you don't always have to have an account to make it worth the time. So that's some of the things that you can do. But when it comes down to push, you got to make them jazzy. You got to make them findable. You got to make them so people know what they're reading, and you got to make them short. Really, in fact, most of them limit you as to how many characters you can have for that reason. If you're going to go go ahead, Stace.
I got some from from companies that do kind of like videos. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, you can do little GIFs. You can do little videos. If you're going to do a long video, have it linked out to your YouTube.
Okay.
If you want somebody to watch a long video, but GIFs, and again, it's down to who's your audience, right? So we won't be doing push notices with the Easy Beasy app because it's more of an internal app. It's not for general public. But let's just say that we did have push notices that we could do with this for whatever reason. We would, our client, the guys, the people that are using it are workers in the field. They're landscapers and cleaners, and they're workers, right? The last thing we're going to do is get cutesy with them. They don't want to see happy emojis and smiling and sending kisses and stuff like that. Not from us, they don't want that. But,
Right.
So we're not going to get all gifty and do a gift in it. But if your audience can tolerate, just like with your team, Lucas, I don't know that I'd get cutesy either, because you have a professional image. We're the guys that you want to come talk to. I don't know how many businesses would look at an accountant who gets all cutesy and excited and have a sense of credibility with them. You want to come off as being professional. The Brookfield app is a fun app. You want to get fun. You want to have the different, maybe a little emoji, maybe a little GIF. You want to do something like that. But before you even get overly fancy with images and stuff, just start doing them. Do your first one, get it out there, get it ready to go. Start telling people that you're there.